I was thinking that I could cover all 1.2 up to 1.4, but when I look at the slides and the topics to be discussed today, I think I will try my best to at least complete 1.1 and 1.2 definition, and 1.2 is importance and significance. In definition, one of the important definition is of Al-Jurjani, which is very important in whoever is teaching ethics. They always look into the definition presented by Al-Jurjani in his Kitab al-Tarifat. So after looking at the technical and the literal meaning, we are going to shed some light on the definition of Al-Jurjani, and then we'll talk about importance and significance, where we are going to talk about the that ethics is the spirit of Islam, and also we'll talk about that ethics, akhlaq, is the validation and authentication of iman, and also we'll talk about the benefits, spiritual benefits and social benefits of akhlaq in Islam. So these subtopics are coming under importance and significance. Okay, so let's look at the definition of ethics. We'll start with the ethics, which normally we are using today in English, the word ethics, but in Islam we are using the term akhlaq. So we'll gradually move to the term akhlaq, but we'll start first with the ethics. So the literal meaning of ethics, it is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means character. And technically, ethics is a discipline that looks into morality, or it is the values or rules of conduct held by individuals or groups, right? So it is a branch of science which is looking into morality. So ethics is actually name of a science. It is a philosophy. In general answer to the question, what is ethics? We can answer it is simplest. Ethics is a system of moral principles. They affect how people make decisions and lead their lives. It is concerned with what is good for individuals and society, and also described as moral philosophy. It covers the following dilemmas: how to live a good life, how our rights and responsibilities, and then what is right, the language of right and wrong, what is good and bad. So this science is looking into all these things. Okay, so now coming to, because we said, because this is the one of the greatest contribution of IIIT, that even though we talk about ethics, but we always have a footnote, a note that we are using the word ethics in the meaning of akhlaq, in the meaning of the Islamic understanding. So ethics in Arabic, we are using it in the meaning of ilmul akhlaq, science that studies morality. So here we are dealing with two words here. One is khuluq. Akhlaq is plural of the word khuluq. And khuluq, it denotes nature or innate disposition of human being. On the other side, the the word khalq. So we have two words here. One is khuluq and another is khalq. The opposite. So the khalq is referring to the physical body of the human being, whereas the khuluq is referring to the nature, the innate disposition of the human being. So this dua we read. This is quite famous when, especially our kids, we teach them to read this dua when we are looking at the mirror. Allahumma kama hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi. So you can see here in this dua, it is Bulughul Maram, page 451, and also normally it is narrated by At-Tabarani. So in this dua, and it is narrated by Mother Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha. So you can see here this dua is in two parts. The Prophet ﷺ is supplicating, "O Allah, like how you have made our appearance, our outer body, external body beautiful, hassanta khalqi, fahassin khuluqi. Similarly, make our inner self, our innate, our akhlaq, make it beautiful like how it is beautiful outside." So from this hadith, we are also understanding that these two terms here. One is khalq and another is khuluq. So the word akhlaq is plural of khuluq, not khalq. Right? So that means akhlaq is always dealing with the inner state of the soul. Later you will see in the definition of Jurjani how he defines it. So it's very quiet. So I also feel a little bit awkward, to as if like I'm talking to myself, but it's okay because if everyone will unmute, then it will be quite noisy. So we can see there we are now, alhamdulillah, nearly 246 participants. That's great, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we are on this the two word, one is khalq, one is khuluq, and the word akhlaq, which we are dealing with in this subject, ethics, akhlaq, is the plural of the word khuluq, okay, and not khalq. Khalq is the word in Arabic which is dealing with our outer appearance, our external body, our physical body, whereas khuluq is dealing with our inner self, our innate, our natural disposition. Okay, so let's go to next part. We are still on definition. So Al-Jurjani, his famous book is Kitabut Tarifat. And whenever we deal with terminologies in academic writing or in academic lectures, it is considered an incomplete work if someone, a scholar, does not refer to Kitabut Tarifat. He's very important, right? So Abdul Qahir Al-Jurjani, and his book is Kitabut Tarifat. So he says that akhlaq is the deep state of the soul, hayya rasikha, of the nafs, that produces actions, behavior with ease, bisahula, without resorting to sophisticated thinking, fikr, and reflection, rawiya. Okay, so a action which is proceeding from our deep inner state of our soul, and that action is proceeding with ease, without even thinking, that is what is called akhlaq. And Imam Ghazali also defines it like that, right? So he says, Imam Ghazali says that the akhlaq is an established state of the soul from which actions proceed easily without any need for reflection or deliberation, right? So that is the definition of akhlaq in Islam. So now there are some important points in Jurjani's definition. I will be sharing this. Slide is still under construction, but I'm sharing. Though I'm sharing it with you, once it is complete, inshallah, we'll send you one copy. I will send the copy to our Sheikh Shahran, and then he will share it with all the participants, inshallah. So it is still under construction. I'll be still adding some more as we will go through these 7 sessions, inshallah. Yeah, all right. So, okay. So let's see some important points in Jurjani's definition. This is those who can read Arabic. I have copied the definition in Arabic. You can read on your own. Those who are referring to Arabic, and alhamdulillah, who are capable to read. But for those who cannot read Arabic, don't worry. I am going to discuss some important points here in this definition of Jurjani. Okay, so these are some important points here in Jurjani's definition. If good actions and behavior that are in line with Sharia and Aql proceeds from the soul with ease, then that state of the soul is called khulukan hasanan, that a good charactered person. That this is the good character, right? So, so you can see first, it is proceeding from that inner state, and it is the action, the behavior is proceeding with ease. A person is not philosophizing, not doing in time of action. He is not busy thinking and becoming a philosopher, but without thinking, that action proceeds from him. I will emphasize what does it mean. Then if actions and behavior, so if the action which is proceeding from the inner state of the soul, if that action is praiseworthy, it is in line with the Sharia, and of course anything which is in line with the Sharia will be also rational, right? Something against Sharia will not be illogical. So a behavior which is rational, it is according to the aql, it looks right, and also it is in line with the Sharia. And this type of action proceeding with ease, then this is, if this happens, then that state of the soul is called khuluq hasan, good character. Now on the opposite, if from the soul, if a action which is proceeding is not according to Sharia, it is dispraised, then in that case, that state of the soul is called khulukun sayyi'an, bad character. Okay, so Jurjani is saying here that it should be established behavior, okay, and not a ad hoc action. Okay, so what does it mean? Especially people who are in psychology and people who are studying behavior, this is is very important for them as well. This point is very important, that that it is coming from that hayya rasikha, a very deep part of the our soul, and without thinking, with ease. That means that behavior has become the habit. That behavior has become that part of that human being. Now that behavior can be good or can be bad, but it has become the part of that human being. Now, example, if he if he for example gives some donation, but this is only one time, so that means this is not established, so this is not part of his akhlaq yet. We cannot call him generous yet. Okay, so that means if someone is generous, his akhlaq is of generosity. That means that action of giving, the action of spending on others has become part of him, and he doesn't have to force himself. Now, even this forcing and thinking before doing is also, there are some important points here. A person might be generous, but he doesn't give every time. There are some reason, might be the time is not right. So he can still be a generous person, and he doesn't have to give every time. And on the other side, a person who gives out of riya, showing people that he wants the praise of the people instead of liking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this person is not generous from his inner state. Right? So you can see these are some important points here in Jurjani's definition, that it should be established, that action which is proceeding from him should be established in that person. And of course, that action have to be according to the Sharia, in line with the Sharia. And it should be empty, it should be clean of riya, or showing, doing it without ikhlas. Right? So these are some of the important points in Jurjani's definition of akhlaq. Okay, let's go to the next point, discussion, which is importance and significance. And here you can see there are 3 points which I mentioned earlier in the starting, that there are 3 discussions here which I want to cover. And that is all for today, inshallah, when we will I will finish these 3 points, sub points. We are going to discuss ethics as the spirit of Islam. We are also going to talk about that ethics, the akhlaq, it is the validation and authentication of iman, and it has the spiritual and social benefits. Because if someone is asking the question, why do we need akhlaq? Why do we need ethics? Why we need a person to be moral? Then we need to know the benefits, the spiritual benefit and the social benefit of someone being mu'addab, someone who is having good character. Right? So these are the 3 points we'll discuss now, inshallah. Okay. So first one, akhlaq is the ruh, you can see here, if you see we'll be coming up, we'll be going through some hadith inshallah after this, and then you will see that how whenever people are asking about Islam from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is answering them with good character, importance of good character, which will decide that someone is a mu'min, someone is a good Muslim. All right, so you can see here, for example, first we'll go through this hadith. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. Okay, this is a Sahih Bukhari hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, I've been sent as the messenger of Allah only for the purpose of perfecting good morals, perfecting the akhlaq, okay, the good akhlaq. And then you can see there, Prophet ﷺ is saying, Al-Muslimu man salim al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. This is also another Bukhari hadith. Okay, and then you can see here, Prophet ﷺ is actually telling us in this hadith that Islam is all about good character, character which is actually not harmful to the others. So you can see here, a Muslim is the one who avoids harming others through his tongue, through his limbs, okay, through his actions, bodily actions, or through his words. So this is what I mean by that akhlaq is the spirit of Islam. Okay, that it is, and that is what was happening in when we look at the Makki ayat and the Prophet's life in Makkah. It is all about after Iman, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is working on the character, on the akhlaq of the people in Makkah. So it is the very foundation of Islam, to be mu'addab, to have good akhlaq, to be ethical. So you can see here, even now I will discuss this, but without sharing the slides, and then inshallah, once I will have other slides added to this existing slide, then we'll share it with you. So you can see, I'm still discussing the spirit of Islam, that akhlaq is the spirit of Islam. So even when we look at the ibadat, there also the ibadat, the outcome of the ibadat is also akhlaq. For example, when we look at the salat, aqimus salah, aqimis salah, inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. So in this ayah, we can see, establish regular prayer, for prayer restrains from indecent and evil behavior. So here we can see, even we are ibadat is solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but there also the outcome is akhlaq. Look at the verse of the zakat as for example, right? So khud bin amwalihim sadaqa tutahhirhum wa tuzakkihim biha. That by giving zakat, we are purifying our soul, we are purifying our inner self. And then when you look at the tafsir and other verses, by giving zakat, we are actually freeing ourselves from stinginess, which is a vile, which is a bad character in human being. So you can see here, even while we are giving zakat, it is a wajib, it is compulsory, and it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the outcome is the akhlaq. Fasting as well. We just finished our fasting, and we are still going through the Shawwal. Alhamdulillah, many of us are fasting the 6th of the Shawwal. So look at the verse 1 Surah Al-Baqarah 183. Here also, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba alal ladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Right? That you may become righteous. You may become a person of good character, a good behavior, rightful person. Fasting, Hajj, Surah Baqarah 197, wala fusuka wala jidala fil Hajj. Okay, so they are also in Hajj. This is what we are learning, that lewdness, depravity, abuse, anger, all these we are supposed to control when we are in Hajj, to the extent that we also cannot harm any plants when we are in Ihram, any animals. Right? So they here also we are learning the akhlaq. The outcome is akhlaq. So that's what we mean by that. Akhlaq is the spirit, the ruh of Islam. So second point was the validation of iman. Right? So Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Many of us, we know this hadith and we always talk about this hadith. Al-imanu bid'un wa sab'una aw bid'un wa sittuna shu'ba afdaluha la ilaha illallah wa adnaha imatatul adha anit tariq. Okay, wal haya shu'batun min al-iman. This is another Bukhari hadith. Iman, the mafhum of this hadith, Iman has over 60 branches or 70 branches. The highest of the branch of Iman is the belief that nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah. And the lowest of which is the removal from the roadway of that which might cause harm to anyone. And modesty, haya, is branch of Iman as well. So you can see here, character is the behavior of human being. It is a part of our Iman. So that means amanu is not enough. Amilu have to be there as well, and that is why in the Quran you will see every time inna ladina amanu wa amilu salihat. Iman, who is believing in Allah and believing in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But how do we validate this Iman, this belief? It have to be accompanied with our action, good behavior. So that is why we are talking about here that it is akhlaq is the validation of Iman. Morality is the validation of Iman. Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ayatul munafiq thalathun. Idha hadasa kadhiba, wa idha wa'ada akhlafa, wa idha u'tumina khana. Muttafaqun alayh. Now this is a hadith where Muslim and Bukhari, they are agreeing, but in the Sahih Muslim he's adding some more, that there is some more word to this hadith. Wa in sama wa salla, وَزَعَمَ أَنَّهُ مُسْلِمٌ. Right? That the munafiq, the alama, the sign of the munafiq is that when whenever he speaks, he lies. Whenever he promises, he breaks it. And whenever something is entrusted to him, he betrays. And with this, he might be praying and fasting, thinking that he is a Muslim. So this is the additional part in Sahih Muslim, right? So you can see here, Prophet ﷺ is explaining to us, telling us through this hadith that we might be praying, we might be fasting, but we are not reaching that level of iman if our akhlaq, our character, this lying, betraying, not fulfilling promises, all these are missing in a Muslim's life, then he is just a namesake Muslim, right? So that's why character, akhlaq is very important, because it is very natural, automatic, that when someone will believe in Allah, someone will believe in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then his behavior, his action, his inner self will be purified, will become pure, and the actions proceeding from it will be pure as well. So what we are saying here is that lacking in good morals is similar to lacking in faith, in iman. And there is a hadith in At-Tirmidhi, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أكمل المؤمنين إيمانا أحسنهم خلقا. This word coming again here, khuluq. What is the hadith here at Tirmidhi? That the most perfect believer in faith is the one who is best in moral character. Right? So his akhlaq will be the best. So you can see here, Prophet ﷺ in this hadith is telling us, giving us a very simple equation here, right? That lacking in good moral is equal to lacking in faith, and perfection in moral, in good morality is perfection in iman. Okay, so that's what we are talking about here, that morality is akhlaq is the validation of iman. In Sahih Bukhari, and this is very common, we always talk about this hadith, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Right, so this is in Sahih Bukhari again. He who believes in Allah and the last day of judgment is forbidden to cause any harm to his neighbor, okay, to his brother. He is supposed to be kind to the guests, especially the musafir, the strangers, wayfarers, and he is so you can see here, la yu'minu ahadukum, that one cannot be mu'min if he does not like, he does not love for his brother what he loves for himself. Now, who wishes bad for himself? Everyone in this world is always opting, always intending, making effort for something good for themselves. Now, the demand of our iman is that we also if we are intending, we are wishing good for ourselves, then the iman requires us that we wish that same goodness for our brother, for our sister, for our neighbor, for our society, right? So if we don't like someone calling us bad names, someone insulting us, then that means we should also love this, that someone should not, or we should wish and we should make effort that someone does not insult our brother, our sister. All right, so someone doesn't curse us, that means we should also make effort that someone does not curse another Muslim or another brother. All right, so so these are also another for you to reflect on. I will be inshallah sending all this, I'll be adding all these hadiths and explaining and the translation and the references in the slides, inshallah, and then I will share it with the Sheikh Shahran and he will give it to you, inshallah. uh, so now look at the Quran, which I mentioned earlier, that well, Asri we are always reading, right? Every time we give talk, we especially in Malaysia, people are very concerned about time. Of course, it never happens, but we always talk about this. We end our session with Surah Al-Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat. Okay, so you can see there, amanu wa amilus salihat. Okay, and then what is happening after that? I swear by the time, most surely Allah, man is in loss, except those who believe and do good work, good actions, and watawasaw bil haqqi, and exhort one another to truth, watawasaw bis sabr, and exhort one another to endurance. All right, so you can see here in this teaching that after Iman, these are all behavior, these are all morality, that we are supposed to do good actions, we are supposed to encourage, exhort one another to truth, we are supposed to exhort and encourage one another to endure, make sabr when something bad happens to us. We are now in COVID-19. This is part of akhlaq, that we call our brothers, we contact them through WhatsApp, call them through Viber, and ask how are they doing. Because many people are mentally not healthy in this situation. Do we call them, or we are just selfish, sitting in our house and spending time with our kids and children? Are we calling others? So you can see this is also behavior, akhlaq, character. Surah Baqarah verse 82, right? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Who is going to be in Jannah? Who is going to be their everlasting life in Jannah? The one who is believing, faith, and amilus salihat, walk righteousness. Okay. What is the time? Still nearly about to be done. Inshallah, we'll finish inshallah today these points. Okay. Why do we have to be moral people? Why Muslims akhlaq should be good? So in that I said that we have benefits, right? So we have spiritual benefits, we have social benefits. So look at some, we'll talk about some spiritual benefits. And you will see that actually to be to force ourselves to have good character, to practice, because you see good character, inshallah it will be coming in our second session. We'll be talking about inculcation. How do we inculcate good character, good akhlaq in ourselves? So don't worry, it will come there. We'll talk about this. All right, so but here we're talking about the benefits. Good akhlaq is actually our equivalent to nawafil. our supererogatory ibadah. So akhlaq is actually ibadah. That means if we are generous, we are giving, we are spending infaq, we are sharing, we are giving hadiyah, we are fulfilling promise, we are not telling lies. All these are ibadah actually, right? So, and you can understand this through the hadith. The hadith says, a believer, by the virtue of his good morals, may attain the status of one fast, voluntary fasting regularly, and perform prayers at night, right? So it is same like someone praying tahajjud, someone fasting in Shawwal, someone fasting on the Ayyamul Bayda, or fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. So someone having good akhlaq, like smiling is a good character. This is similar to like someone fasting nawafil, right? So the hadith says, when the Prophet ﷺ was asked, people asked him, whom Allah likes the most among his subjects? And the Prophet replied, the one who possesses superior moral qualities, right? The one who is full of good akhlaq, Allah loves him most. Now, still we are here on spiritual benefit. Now, there is a negative part of if someone is not having good akhlaq, he is actually in a loss. Because why? Because our bad behavior, it eliminates our good deeds, right? It spoils our virtues. And the traditional example, I think there are some people from Fiji today, I don't know, from my country as well. This example is very famous. What happens if 1 or 2 drops of urine falls in a bucket of milk? That whole milk is spoiled. So a mu'min, a good Muslim, if his character is not good, this what happens, it eliminates his good deeds, right? So, and the Prophet ﷺ says this, that courtesy and good morality melt the sins, just like the water melts the ice, right? This is one part of the hadith. The second part of the hadith is saying, and immorality spoils good deeds as vinegar spoils honey. Honey is very tasty. I always eat honey from Fiji, even though I'm staying in Malaysia. All right. Don't ask me how I get my honey from Fiji. But if vinegar falls in honey, it's spoiled. So one might be doing tahajjud, one might be spending on miskin, on masakin, one might be making great efforts, but then he eliminates, he spoils this with bad character. And on the other side, the first part of the hadith is the positive part, is that when we have good akhlaq, the Prophet said that it melt the sins. That means if we have some minor sins, okay, sagair, and every time we do good character, we have good akhlaq, so this good akhlaq will melt, will eliminate those minor sins, because major sins we have to make tawbah, right? This one we all know this. And the hadith is famous. A certain woman is famous for her voluntary prayers, fasting and charity, but she harms her neighbors. This was asked by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the Prophet said, she is in Jahannam. Another woman does not do much by way of voluntary prayers, doesn't have a lot of tahajjud, doesn't have a lot of tilawah, doesn't have a lot of prayer, fasting, but she gives pieces of cheese in charity and she does not harm her neighbors, the Prophet said she is in paradise, she is in Jannah. You can see. So that's why my dear brothers, I want you to share it, the importance of I want you to share it with your families, with your neighbors, with friends. This is a good time because now we are easy access. We can reach people through phone, through SMS, through WhatsApp, through Viber, and other social media means. So please share. All right, these are very beneficial, not only for you, for me as well. So that was the spiritual benefit. Now let's discuss social benefit. Um, when we have good character, good akhlaq, what will happen? We will have stable, secure, and harmonious society, right? And actually, we don't need rocket science to achieve this, right? Stability, security, harmony is purely coming out of a man's character. And I can give you example. We have all these fightings on Jum'ah for parking. And people in Australia, they know this. Every time they will spoil their whole Jum'ah spirit because someone blocked someone's car. All right. And then they fight on it. And sometimes they end up having fist fights. Where's the akhlaq? وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Right, so you can see that's why we are saying that the social benefit, stability, security, harmony, is because of our good character. See, civilization. Civilization is only about to what can be done. People in a civilization, they do their best to achieve what can be done. But a civilization, when it is married with akhlaq, then it becomes a civilization with a just end. That means a civilization which is performing what should be done, it is achieving what should be done, and it is avoiding what should not be done. That is when we are teaching, you will see, I think you are taking the class of Dr. Kabui, and he'll be discussing this soon when we talk about knowledge and civilization, that our understanding, Islam's understanding of civilization is different. Our civilization, the peak, the uruj, and the fall is all based on akhlaq, on character, not based on means, not based on material. Right? So strong and peaceful family life. And I don't want to emphasize that. You all know that there are many hadiths there. Prophet ﷺ is saying, who is the best husband? The spouse. The one who is a man who is, if you want to measure, the hadith says that if you want to gauge someone's character, you see his behavior towards his wife. Right? So a peaceful family, strong, united family institution is also based on akhlaq, social benefit. Leadership, good leadership is based on akhlaq as well. A leader, no, he doesn't have justice, he doesn't have amana, he doesn't have integrity, he cannot be a good leader. Right? Building good reputation. The reason why people were giving themselves, allowing themselves and coming to the Prophet is because Prophet ﷺ was having a perfect character. And because of that, the great kuffar, they all gave in at the end, they all surrendered to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, because the Prophet's reputation was because of his akhlaq. Winning hearts of people. is also because of character. And we have many stories how Prophet ﷺ visiting the person, Jews, Yahud, someone who was harming him, throwing fresh on him, and then when he finds that he is sick, he is going there for his i'ada. So you can see, and he's winning the hearts. All right, so these are some of the social benefits. So that's all for today's session. We have done the definition, and we have looked into Jurjani's definition. We have talked about the importance and significance, where we talked about that akhlaq is the spirit of Islam, and why it is important. We also talk about the validation of iman, because akhlaq and good behavior is the validation of iman. Then we talked about why we have to be moral, why we have to be good character people. There we talked about social benefit, we talked about spiritual benefit. So Sheikh Shahran, that's all for today.
Thank you so much, Prof. Farid.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We will not take any question for now. We will take it next week, inshallah. This is just an introduction to the course. As Prof. Farid said, will be with us for another 6 weeks. We have plenty of time. Prof, any last word before we disperse?
Yes, normally I think I just want to normally I say this to my students, and see, our iman is in our conscience, mafid dhamir, sitting inside, deep in our heart. Our iman is there, but we need the shahada, we need the witness that our iman is there. All right, so that is the reason why we need actions, good behavior, good action, amila salihat. This is the witness, right? It is the witness of our iman, which is in our conscience. If that witness is not there, that means something is missing. Our iman is not that strong that it cannot take the form of actions. All right. Now, good behavior, good akhlaq, good character, when we achieve this, that's what it means that a Muslim is dynamic. And this is supposed to be discussed in by Dr. Fatmir when he will talk about the characteristics of Islamic worldview. And you will see there that Islam is a dynamic religion because we believe in God, in Allah, who is dynamic. And because our Allah, our Lord, is dynamic, we also have to be dynamic. And dynamic means this, right? That the iman is in our conscience, and that iman have to take the form of action. It have to interpret into action. So this action becomes the witness, the shahid of our conviction. That's all, Sheikh Shahran.
Thank you so much. We will see again Prof. Farid tomorrow night for a short while, because he's also the head of research for the Kuliah. So he will share with us tomorrow night briefly about what other research we are doing at the university. So
Okay.
we'll see the brothers and sisters again tonight, another 3 hours. We have a very big guest, Professor Dr. Anis Ahmad. He is one of the co-founder of IIIT. He studied together, he studied under Prof. Faruqi. They are all close friends. Tonight is a very important session. We really hope the brothers and sisters can join us at 9 o'clock following time. Till then, we'll close our session with Tasbih Kifarah.